Alright, welcome to the Strange North channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you my favorite places to eat and drink in the city of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Saskatoon has a surprisingly excellent food scene. Honestly, on a per capita basis, the food scene in Saskatoon is just as good as Canada's larger coastal cities like Vancouver and Montreal. And I'm not going to throw too much information at you, I'm just going to give you my personal favorites in a variety of categories. Of course, these are just my personal opinions and many people will disagree with these. But I know the Saskatoon food scene very well, and I just wanted to do a quick video outlining some of my favorites. So I'm just going to jump right into the list. Okay, the first category on my list is best overall coffee in the city. And in my opinion, the clear winner when you're talking about overall quality is Museo Coffee Roasters on Broadway Avenue. I've had a lot of coffee in Saskatoon, and Museo consistently delivers the best results. The overall quality of their drinks is impeccable, and the service is always excellent. This is a pretty small location, and they have a couple seats inside, and they often have seating on the sidewalk as well. And it's just a very tiny place, but I've always been really impressed with the overall quality at Museo. They roast their coffee beans in-house, and so they're really involved with the entire process of creating a great cup of coffee. And of course, many places now roast in-house, but I find that Museo does an excellent job of this. And so overall, I'd have to give Museo Coffee Roasters the #1 spot when you're talking about quality coffee in the city of Saskatoon. Okay, the next category on my list is best overall cafe and coffee shop, and in that category I'd have to give City Perks the top spot. City Perks is located in the neighborhood of City Park, a highly populated neighborhood just to the north of Saskatoon's downtown core. I really love this neighborhood. At the moment it doesn't have a ton of businesses, but it has a couple really popular ones, and I can see this turning into a popular and vibrant commercial hub in the future. City Perks doesn't have the same quality of coffee as Museo does. It really depends on who your barista is. I've had excellent cups of coffee here and some that are a bit mediocre. But what I love about City Perks is that it's a lot bigger and it has a real homey feel. There are a bunch of places to sit inside and outside, and every time I've been there, the service has been excellent as well. And so in terms of overall coffee quality, I'd have to give that to Museo. But sometimes it's nice to just sit in a coffee shop for a while or maybe meet up with some friends. And Museo has very limited seating. It's a much smaller location, whereas City Perks is a much larger location and they just have a lot more seating availability. And so Museo definitely has the best coffee quality in the city in my opinion, but in terms of overall coffee shop and cafe, I would have to give that to City Perks. Okay, the next category on my list is best breakfast, and this is really hard to pick. Saskatoon has wonderful restaurants and a bunch of great places to grab breakfast, but in this category I think the clear winner is Park Cafe. This is a small diner style restaurant in Riversdale, what I consider to be the coolest neighborhood in Saskatoon. It's been around for many years and it's very popular with locals. It's routinely rated the best breakfast in the city, although I've had a bunch of really good breakfasts at other locations. But Park Cafe has always been excellent when I've been there, and this place has a real classic old school diner vibe. And this neighborhood has seen significant improvement and development, and I guess you could say gentrification in the past 15 years or so. But Park Cafe was established prior to this significant wave of gentrification in this neighborhood, and it's really become a Saskatoon institution in terms of breakfast places. And while a lot of the newer restaurants in Saskatoon definitely have a very modern vibe, Park Cafe has a very old school classic vibe, partly due to the memorabilia and knickknacks that adorn every square inch of this place. And so in my opinion, I think the best breakfast place in Saskatoon is Park Cafe. Okay, the next category on my list is best overall lunch restaurant, and for that category, my personal favorite is Odd Couple. This is just down the road from Park Cafe in the popular Riversdale neighborhood, and honestly, this place produces some of the best Asian food I've ever had in my life. Their food is basically Asian fusion, and they use a variety of styles and ingredients, and everything is really top quality. And this place is also known for its particularly excellent service, which, as you're aware, seems to have been declining a bit in the past few years. I also just love the interior design of this place. I think it's a really cool looking place to hang out. And while the food is very high quality, it's not quite as fancy as some of the other restaurants in the city, and it's definitely very unpretentious. And honestly, this place is in my top 3 restaurants in Saskatoon overall. And of course, they're open during dinner hours as well, but in my opinion, this place is just the overall best lunch restaurant in Saskatoon. Okay, the next category on the list is best dinner place. These are places I consider to be a bit more upscale, somewhere you might want to dress up and maybe take a date or go for a special occasion. And my pick in this category is Little Grouse on the Prairie. It was really hard to pick a favorite in this category because Saskatoon has phenomenal fine dining options. But I think right now I have to pick Little Grouse on the Prairie for the best fine dining restaurant in the city. This restaurant is owned and operated by Dale McKay, who has really become Saskatchewan's restaurant king. He is a one-time winner of Top Chef Canada, and after being internationally trained at many fine establishments around the world, he returned to Saskatoon and started a company that opened many popular restaurants across Saskatchewan. And Little Grouse on the Prairie is one of their most popular restaurants. This restaurant specializes in rustic, authentic Italian dishes, and they always use high-quality ingredients and use top-tier chefs in their kitchens. And so while there are many fine dining options in Saskatoon, my winner in this category is Little Grouse on the Prairie. Okay, the next category on my list is Best Bakery, and in my opinion, the best bakery in Saskatoon is the Night Oven Bakery. And this place is really known for their method of stone milling locally grown grain in-house, and it just leads to very high quality products. Not only are their bread and desserts and muffins and bagels and everything like that really good, but they're also starting to produce some of the highest rated pizza in the city as well. They use a wood-fired oven, and you can just feel the rustic, authentic vibe when you walk into this place. And so in this category, I think this place is the clear winner. Okay, the next category on my list is Best Bar or Pub or just place to grab a drink. And many people will disagree with this, but in my opinion, the best place to grab a drink in the city is Amigos Cantina. This is a popular pub and live music venue. Honestly, most small bands that are touring Canada make a stop at Amigos Cantina in Saskatoon as they're touring Western Canada. This is Saskatoon's premier spot for seeing smaller bands. It's a very popular music venue, and what I really love about this place is they have excellent Mexican food. Honestly, I was debating putting Amigos as my favorite lunch spot because they produce excellent, unpretentious Mexican food. In particular, they have this carne asada plate, or they did, where they have this lime and chili marinated steak with Mexican rice, beans, onion rings, and fried tortillas. Honestly, if you pair that with a Corona, this is one of the best meals that you can get in Saskatoon. And this place is located just off Broadway Avenue in the very popular neighborhood of Natana, and in my opinion, this is just the best place to grab a drink in the city. Now, as an honorable mention, I think that many people consider Yard and Flagon, also on Broadway Avenue, to be the best pub in the city. I think that's true in a lot of ways. It's more of a classic pub. They have a better drink selection and an excellent rooftop patio. But I just think Amigos is a bit better of a place to grab a drink, and the delicious Mexican food is a lot better than the traditional pub fare at Yard and Flagon. And so in my opinion, this is definitely the best place to grab a drink in the city. Okay, the next category on my list is Best Pizza, and in my opinion, there's really no question. I think right now, the best pizza in Saskatoon is 13 Pies Pizza and Bar. This is located right in the heart of downtown, and they do a Brooklyn-inspired pizza using the finest ingredients available. And besides that, this place is also a popular bar, and they have a variety of drinks and cocktails, and people talk about this place having excellent service as well. Now, I've only ordered out from this place. I haven't done in-house dining, and so I can't vouch for that, but their reputation is really good in terms of being a dining establishment and bar. But honestly, their food is really good, and if you're in the mood for pizza, I don't think you can go wrong with 13 Pies. I will mention Red Swan as an honorable mention just because this company has now spread across Canada, and it started in Saskatoon. And even in Edmonton, where I live, Red Swan has become very popular over the past number of years. And so Saskatoon really has a surprisingly excellent pizza scene. But I think when you're talking about best overall quality in the city, that has to go to 13 Pies. Okay, the next category on this list is Best Overall Desserts, and in this category, I think that Calories Restaurant is the clear winner. So this is another popular establishment along Broadway Avenue in the popular Natana neighborhood. And besides being a very popular overall restaurant, they also have a top-notch in-house bakery. And they're just known for having some of the best desserts in Saskatoon, and in my opinion, the very best. They have a wide variety of cheesecakes, which aren't my favorite, but they also do excellent cakes, torts, pies, and all sorts of baked goods. And while this place is also a legitimately popular restaurant if you wanted to stop in for a bite, they also do takeout service if you wanted to grab a dessert to go. And many people consider Fable Ice Cream to be the most iconic place to grab a dessert in Saskatoon. And their ice cream is very good. But in my opinion, if you're in the mood for something sweet, I think the best option in Saskatoon is Calories Restaurant. Okay, and the final category on my list is just what I consider to be the most Saskatoon place to eat in the city. And that place is Baba's Homestyle Perogies. This is the only drive-through pierogi restaurant in Canada. Now, I've never actually gone through the drive-through. Every time I've eaten here, I actually just stop in and eat in-house. They mostly do drive-through, but they do have a small dining area with a couple tables. And this place place just has some of the best food I've had in Saskatoon, and they make their pierogies, sausages, cabbage rolls, and pies in-house. And besides serving fresh hot food, they also sell their products frozen, including their many pies, of which Saskatoon is one of their most popular. And in my opinion, I think that there are a couple foods that really define Saskatoon, and those are the Saskatoon pie and the pierogi. Now, pierogies are very popular across the Canadian prairies. This area of the country had a lot of Eastern European immigrants, and of course they brought the pierogi with them. Pierogies are very popular in Alberta as well, for example. But this Ukrainian and Eastern European influence is very strong in Saskatoon. And so besides anything Saskatoon related, like Saskatoon pies, I also think that the pierogi is a very iconic food of the city. And so in my opinion, Baba's Homestyle Pierogies is just the most iconic Saskatoon restaurant. And they just produce some of the best versions of the foods that the city is best known for. And I just think this place is the most Saskatoon restaurant in the city. And that pretty much wraps up my list of the best places to eat in Saskatoon. And in my opinion, Saskatoon really punches above its weight, especially on a per capita basis, given how big the city is. And there are restaurants and cafes in Saskatoon that can definitely compete with establishments in Canada's larger coastal cities. I hope you found that interesting and informative, and if you'd like to watch more of my content in general, please consider subscribing to my channel. I upload about one new video per week. And please leave your comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on the best restaurants in Saskatoon. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Strange North channel.